Hey! Okay, well, I'm gonna do it because I usually screw up when I start recording in French. When I start shooting a video, I start laughing or compulsively doing, talking about things that have nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about in the video. But so same with recording the translations. I've had troubles because the cat starts meowing when I start pushing the record button. But here we go with there. So it's gonna be hard also to fake enthusiasm. I don't know how you pronounce this word, but basically when I record in French, I shoot the videos. There's this kind of, how do you say, spontaneity that I lose a little bit when I record then the English audio on it, and basically I feel like I'm an automat with a monochord tone of voice, but I will try to make it as lively and as accurate and well explained as possible. So what I was saying in the French version that got me really happy was that I finally have a tripod, so now no more camera clinging from one side to the other, making you seasick. So here I'm showing you what I'll be using because today we're melting a pebble. So I'm showing the jam jar that I keep all my scraps of sterling silver, and I've already weighted with the weight scale, that's how you say, my 3 grams of sterling silver. So this is the brand I use, but I guess you use what you can. This is good because for me it's in the French and it goes up to 100 grams, which is more than enough for jewelry making. I would really recommend any person that wants to start kind of getting serious about making jewelry, as a business, to get one of those because it's a crucial part of being able to weight the metal, whether it's for lost wax casting or just to be able to know how much you will have to build the jewelry, the final product with the raw material. So this is a great little tool that I'd say even a must-have. So here I'm showing you what 3 grams of sterling silver looks like. Of course I spill half of it on the table, me. So we're going to use that. And to do so, we're going to process in a very simple manner. I'm not really into melting silver, but I found that this is a great way to recycle like scraps and to be able to simply do things with what you already have on board in a way. So always keep the scraps, obviously. And to do so, we're going to be using a charcoal block. Mine is broken, but you can use whatever you have, whatever you use to solder. I would recommend the charcoal block because it's really I found the safest way to do it. So here I'm going to show you, I don't know the English term for this, but it's in French we call it le glaçage, which could be translated by icing, like when you're icing a cake. I know nothing to do with this, but I'll say then icing the charcoal block. And why I do this? Because basically it will help to heat the metal faster, because it will work as a sort of coat that will protect the. Well, that's the thing. Actually, it will make the charcoal block lives last less than it could, but so basically you will have to change charcoal blocks more often if you use this technique and if you do melt a lot of things. But the great thing about coating it with the borax, because I've used the borax or collabor, and this will help to not protect the charcoal, but make it more easy for the heat to melt the metal, so it will fasten the process. I don't have more charcoal blocks, but if I did, I would have put many around the main piece to be able to make the process go even faster. By having charcoal blocks on the side, it would make the flame and the heat be reverbed and mirrored back to the central charcoal piece that I'm heating up at the moment. And so if you could do this, and I couldn't because I didn't have charcoal blocks to put around. Here, after putting the borax, here like I'm just doing, you would have to put some other on the other corners and even on the top to really make the heat located and really stuck in one place. But so for the now, I'm just setting up the borax so that it stays well on the charcoal block without overheating it, obviously. And then I will put the pieces of silver on it. And yeah, let's go. So I haven't mentioned too, but for my blowtorch, I'm using I don't know how you say it, and like the tip. There are three main tips or ending piece that you can screw on the blowtorch, and usually for the melting I would use the largest one, but right now I just use the medium one because I had forgotten to change it, so we're going to stick with this because the charcoal block is super hot. I'm using the pliers, I mean. If you weren't lazy to, it would even fasten and make the process even faster if you had cut up your jewelry scraps in tiny bits, because it will it will heat up quicker. But I didn't do it. So let's go. Yeah, I talk a lot in the French, in the French version, but yeah. Okay, she's finally lighting the blowtorch. Let's go. So I will start with a mild flame. That's actually more vivid high flame than a medium heat, but you can go pretty fairly. You can increase the temperature pretty quickly. As you can see, the top part is so tiny that it's already melting. And the thing that is really interesting with melting metal like that is that you'll see that it's a kind of natural process. I don't know, like physiological, but it doesn't apply because it's metal. But you know what I mean? Like it's a fact, the metal, as it melts and the temperature rises, it will just make some kind of stacks of silver and eventually turn into a full kind of bubblish form shape. So here I just stopped a minute because I thought it was really interesting, and it gave me the opportunity to also give another tip. I don't know why I saw a fish there. I see a fish, and basically by melting scraps like that randomly, you can come up with free forms melted metal. That is also a great way to make abstract form, or you can try projects and make things out just like that and see how it turns out. It can be interesting to work on stuff like that. Here I have to drastically increase the flame because actually I'm running out of gas. I need to change my gas thingy, and so I had to increase the flame and the oxygen input way more than I should have, but I wanted to finish the melting process to be able to show you the final results. So this is it's a high flame, I find, for such a small pebble of silver. But yeah, so I did what I could, and in the end, you see that because the metal is flowing and getting so liquid, I had a problem that you might encounter if you don't work on a really flat surface. That's why I would advise you to really work on this flat surface and to change quite often the charcoal blocks, because then you have to do like I did. I don't know if you saw, but I had to use my pliers to keep the charcoal block kind of steady for it not to move. Otherwise my pebble would have crashed on the other plate, on the other soldering stuff, and it would have splashed, and this could have been dangerous too. So here there are two methods. The first one that I'm showing, by using the pliers to move around the pebble, is the way I usually use when I solder things or I melt pebbles like that, because they will stick, the melted metal will stick on the block, on the charcoal block. So the way to avoid this problem is just because I want to gain some time, because you can let it cool on the charcoal block, but if you do let it cool, And you don't do like me, moving it around straight away after it turned reddish, because if you that's the thing, you need to also be pretty precise, because if you move it around while it's too hot, still really red, you can actually shape the metal that is still melted but not cooled and softened enough. So I think that I would advise for people that begin, like beginners, to wait until the pebble has completely cooled down, and you'll hear a little clack when the piece of metal is ready to like detach from the charcoal block. But if you want to gain some time, you can just move around the pebble after it's been red when it's starting to cool down, because it's a process that is fairly quick. You can move it around and it will not stuck in the first place. I don't know if I was clear, I hope I was, but here is what 3 grams of melted silver looks like. I wanted to show you for the size if you want to know approximately what 3 grams of melted silver would look like. So it's a fairly big pebble, pretty steady weight. And yeah, to go back to what I was mentioning, I would just advise you not to do like me, and you can, I'm just like, I don't like to wait, so I just moved it around, but you could just let it cool right there, nice and easy, and it will detach naturally from the charcoal block. Well, I think I've said it all for this video. I don't know what will be the next subject, but I will translate only videos that I find relevant and that add something to the jewelry community. So yeah, I wish you a good day, and I'll see you around. Bye.